And then when I came to Canada after Afghanistan, I visited my mum in the Netherlands, and we walked over the marketplace, and she was watching some people with mobility devices, and out of the blue, she said, "Over my dead body, will I ever use one of those things?" And that did two things to me. One, she caught herself on her judgment about how she sees those people.
Yeah.
Like, never that, because they don't look good. And the second thing that it did is it launched something into my viewfinder as a designer that was actually a justice issue, because what I saw is that medical devices are technical solutions for a body with a problem. It emphasizes the disability.
Yeah.
And then it creates a social divide between people with and without disabilities. And I thought, that's just not okay. Why can I go to a bike shop and get the coolest bike? And why, the moment I have a disability, I have nothing cool to choose from? And it's made for a body with a problem. We are not a body with a problem. We are people. I mean, you don't see if I'm disabled here. We talk to each other. I don't know if you're disabled or not.
Exactly. We are sitting.
Because that's not who we are. We have a body that is a logistical nightmare anyway. We need to eat it, we need to sleep it, we need to poop, we need to dress it, like all that stuff. And it's always a logistical management of the body to go somewhere, to eat, to get our groceries. We need to manage this body to get the things done that we want to get done. If you add wonky legs or missing a leg, or who cares? It doesn't change who I am. But it does in this society, because we are judged by the exterior characteristics. And so it became a justice issue for me. And I was like, I'm going to design something that is the coolest thing, that now you're the one on the cool bike, instead of like, oh, what happened to you? Or like, I'm not going to talk to that person because that's a little bit uncomfortable.
I absolutely agree with you, and especially as you were living in France, maybe you saw a little bit French position and French mentality about this question, because we have the laws about inclusion in schools and so on, but in reality, we
mindset, right?
we have a lot of medical institution, and I can say you, for example, my child is the only cerebral palsy child in school, and they have about 500 children in school. Nobody else. And I think if we had a wheelchair and not bike, it was not possible, because of mentality of the of French society. And for Mark, for example, he's walking child. He's GMS 2, so he's walking, but we know that walking child, he's tired more quickly and so on and so forth. He needs to sit and much more. And especially school, it's a long days. So for me, it was just a miracle, especially for the big years, like he's entering college. College here in France, it's like a primary school. For the children, for the 12 years old. So, and I just saw this, and I see that all the children, especially with the physical disability, they try to put in institution, medical institution, and push. It's not all countries like this. I think United States and Canada may be much more open-minded.
No.
The schools?
No.
The inclusion in schools?
No. They're all special schools, and they try to push them into special schools.
Also in the school, special schools. And I don't understand why, because honestly, if a child can, and we have all laws, it's an inclusion. You and he has only neurotypical friends, Mark, because of that, because he's in normal school. Neither typical friends come at home. He can play like everybody now. Now he's playing Fortnite with his friend online and so on, exactly like other children of his age. He has more difficulties with movements and maybe some more difficulties with reading, but like the other children with dyslexia. So absolutely agree with you. And this is the point which was very important for me. that the image of the disability, and I hope it will change. So I will ask you next question, because some parents they send me questions, and I will put also after on my when you send me Zoom, I will put also on my YouTube the description of the Alinker, because the first question that parents will ask me, it was, what was the smallest child who could use the Alinker? As we know, because we have the Happy Small now, and Happy Small, it's about 56 centimeter between the legs, longer of legs. And I asked the company in Switzerland, because they can adapt the smallest with the but even with the adaptation with the possibility to adapt the Alinker, it's Caro Bayer, she said me about 50 centimeters.
Okay. This is what Caro is doing. And
yes,
we
yes,
have that with that
exactly.
seat, with the seat post that goes down,
Yes,
and you can actually slide
yes.
the seat down.
And for the parents who wanted to, he want to adapt, I will send the contacts to her company. I discussed already with her, and asked her if she wants to participate with our Zoom, but she couldn't. And but at any case, it's from 9 years old. Maybe it's possible to use the smallest Alinker from 9 years.
What she's doing is use the small Alinker with the
seat.
With the seat pen. If you put that seat pen on the Happy Small, you go a lot lower. Before the pandemic, we had the prototype XS. You've seen Luca in Melbourne?
Yes, I saw him.
Yeah, that goes a lot lower as well. But then the pandemic happened, and we could not launch the product. And we need money to be able to, because the minimum order quantities have gone up from 150 units to 1,000 units that we need to prepay by 30%.
Yeah.
So in order to make the XS and get the XS to the market, we need money. Yeah. And after the pandemic, raising money has become really complicated. So yeah, as soon as
for now, it's on standby, this project for the XS for the smallest children, because for XS it was possible maybe from 6-7 years old already.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I've got the XXS prototype as well. But again, same thing, pandemic, we need money. And the XXS is not as far in prototyping as the XS is. The XS, I had 2 prototypes, and one is in Ottawa and one is in Melbourne with Luca. The XXS has not made it to prototype yet, but all the drawings, everything is, and it's the same principle as the XS, but just smaller. So it's not going to be very complicated. We just need money.
I see. But for example, if the parents will know that it exists, and if you see that there is an interest in Alinker, maybe in the future it will be possible to develop.
It is. We can launch and get them produced right now if I have the money.
Yeah.
Money is the only issue.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're really trying to get money, but it's really hard because
you need the thought, for example, to take the prescription. For example, if the parents can just fulfill the order, pre-ordering, and then if you have 100 orders, maybe you say, okay, now I can produce. What you think? Maybe this is possible to say. For example, if I put this video later on Tutor, and if we see that the parents starting to send you the pre-ordering and said, okay, I'm interested and I wish to buy, and if you have 100 parents who wants to buy for the children, then you can produce the smallest Alinker. So maybe this is the possibility we can think about.
But the minimum order quantity is 1,000 units.
1,000 units. I see. Okay. I see.
Which has changed. It used to be 100, 150 that we can just push through. Now they ask to prepay 30% of 1,000 units, and then once they get released, you have to pay the other 70% before they ship.
Okay, I see.
So it's a big feat, and I can do a crowdfunding campaign for the XS and the XXS, for example, but there's no guarantee that we get enough money to do that. So I don't want people to spend money without any guarantee.
I know, I understand. But if, at any case, maybe if we have on your page, on Alinker page, which I will put on video, the form to complete by parents, I'm interested in Alinker in small size. At any case, it will give you a feedback how many parents ready to.
That's a very good idea,
Yes.
Svetlana, because I've been thinking about how to do that, and maybe we can do. Maybe I should start a crowdfunding campaign for the XS worldwide, because
you know what I saw, for example, when I put also mark on Alinker on Turto, where we have a lot of parents, I don't know, maybe 10,000, 11,000 now on Turto application, which was created by the parents, and I saw that Americans, they didn't know that it exists. Parents from the United States, I'm from France, was telling them that it exists. It was funny, even funny, because I'm from France and you're producing in Canada and United States. I was ordering from there, and parents from there, they didn't know that it exists. That means that they just even can't imagine that it exists for the children. And we can tell exactly, because for the small children it's not exist. And I could order it because I have Mark, he is very tall, so he started to use it early because he is very big child for his age. A big father, big mother, so big child. But at any case, I think it will be interesting maybe to think about such kind of possibility to propose them to fulfill a form. What I have another question from parents. If I can compare Alinker, it will be better to compare Alinker to a walker than to a bike, maybe, because for the child, it's, we have walker behind children's use, but in fact, it's more a walker than a bike, because when you talk about bike to cerebral palsy parents, they're thinking about bike like training or adaptive.
Right.
It's exactly what it's doing, Alinker. It's something between.
It's a walking bike.
It's a walking bike.
It's a walking bike.
Between, because at the same time you can to sit and to rest, and at the same time you can run and you can walk with it. And this is
the very typical thing with cerebral palsy is that the classification between 1 and 5.
Yes.
They're very clearly categorized in how severe the impact of CP is on their mobility, and the mild cerebral palsy, they suffer hardest because they have to walk at any cost. Right?
Exactly.
And so when people age with cerebral palsy, they have the consequences of walking at any cost, wearing down their knees. If they got the scissor gait, for example, and then they get later knee problems and hip problems and ankle problems and hip replacements, knee replacements. When there's no weight bearing, but you can train the muscles by walking as you are supported, that is the biggest benefit for people with cerebral palsy.
Me, if the bike, it will be enough stable for stability of a cerebral palsy child, and for me, it's clear it's stable because there is 3 heels, so it's very stable. But
it's way more stable than people think.
Yes, because of the design, they sometimes think that maybe it's not enough stable, like an ordinary bike without pedals with 2 wheels. But we have 3 wheels, and it's very stable. In fact,
3 wheels plus 2 legs, so you've got 5 touching points on the ground.
Yeah.
And because it has 2 wheels in the front, like typically the tricycles have 1 wheel in the front, and then to the back wheels you've got the angles like this. If you go forward, that tilts easier.
Yeah.
Because you got 2 wheels in the front and 1 in the back, the tilting is only if you go back. But going forward, it's extremely way more stable than people think.
Exactly.
And with all the Alinker users in the world, I only know a handful of cases where people fell off the Alinker. And in all cases, people said, I did something stupid. Like I was on a slope and then I steered that, or I went backwards down a slope and fell back. It's always because people say I did something that I shouldn't have done, like inappropriate use.
Okay.
But it's always more stable than
Very
people
stable.
think.
I know, because Mark is using even on the hill when he go down. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, they asked me if child will need constantly put the weight on his legs to keep it in position. I said no, because
The
he can
opposite.
sit also and even put the legs to rest. Even this is possible, but people just imagine.
The thing is that you're stabilized on your sit bones as you sit on the seat. And because you're stabilized, and this is one of the biggest learnings that I had, that the Alinker did, one of the biggest benefits, is because you exert pressure on your sit bones as you're walking, your brain is constantly getting information. Oh, something is happening down there. I need to make a connection. So your brain actually starts rerouting or making new pathways to make movement possible. And the brain wants to work. It's very important to understand. People don't understand the brain a lot because we just push medication, right? And so
It depends. Some parents already with cerebral palsy, they used to it a little bit about brain, about biofeedback. They are a little bit trained parents.
it's coming a little bit. You start hearing it with stroke as well, like, or with MS, that you have to activate the brain. We've been saying that for the last 6 years or something, 5-6 years. And now it starts slowly understanding. But the fact that the brain wants to work, you need to activate it in order to work. So on the Alinker, because you exert pressure on your sit bones, as it stabilizes you in your core, as you walk, you constantly complete the feedback loop. Like when we walk, we send intentions to our legs. That gets translated, and then you start walking, because it translates from nerves to muscles, and then you walk. But you cannot walk without a feedback loop, because you would fall over. The feedback loop that you get back, like if you're on uneven grounds or something, the brain is like, oh, I need to compensate a little bit. That's a constant feedback loop. The moment you sit people down in a wheelchair, for example, they don't get information about the legs anymore. So the brain doesn't know what to do. So you actually disable by not activating it. You further disable your legs if you don't activate the brain. And so that is, I think, the biggest benefit that needs explanation to people. Like, you have to activate the brain, because then the brain starts to work and it helps you rebuild mobility.
But generally, for example, exactly, it's one of the questions for the parents. Is it possible for child, for example, to rest on the Alinker? Because why? Even some children with GMFC 1, even better than Mark, they prefer to use a wheelchair, because parents prefer between walking that they rest. So
yes,
when you sit completely, while in Alinker, we are not sit completely, because we have only just a small seat, not behind. So your back can't be resting. And this was one of the questions of the parents. If really an Alinker child can to rest or not. Because
yes, you rest, and you don't need the back support, because you constantly engage your core to compensate for just sitting on one seat. But the thing is, you rest, so you sit on your sit bones. So you rest, you have no pressure on your legs. At the same time, you constantly engage every part of your body. Your core, you build your core strength because you hold on to the steering.
Honestly, my child, sometimes he's just sitting, and even with one leg, when he's really resting,
sure.
he can just go far.
For
really
sure.
far. For sure.
Yeah.
Just even
this is what people need to understand. You sit as you walk. You walk on wheels. You're fully supported. And you can add pressure on your legs as much as you want by, standing up a little bit more from the seat and then walking. But if you're tired, or if your legs give out, you can sit, you're fully supported, as Mark knows.
Yes, exactly. I agree with you. And so the main question, it will be also for cerebral palsy parents, for what level GMFC, it's really the best profile for Alinker. Because as we know, we have, for example, GMFC 4 and 5, really affected children. Maybe for them, it will be too much. You see
It
what
depends. 1, 2, 3 for sure. 1 often is like walking at any cost, and they will damage themselves over time.
Agree?
The sooner they get an Alinker, they will prevent damage, and they can go faster right now without pain in the joints.
Yeah.
So for 1, for sure, but that's a hard one because people's like, oh no, I can't walk with a scissor walk.
Exactly.
Walking at any cost is a huge problem in the cerebral palsy community.
Mm.
And people that age get
GMFC 2, like Mark, for sure.
Yeah.
Agree. Absolutely.
2 and 3 is perfect.
And
1,
2 and 3, even GMFC 3 can use it. No
yes.
problem. Yeah.
We have a few people
and 5
that
may be more difficult.
Well, I think category 4 and 5 can use it in rehab to build strength and to correct the gait, because often and cerebral palsy has so many ways that it can show up, because no one is the same with cerebral palsy. It depends a little bit. I had a guy in Vancouver. I think he must be 4 or 5, I'm not sure, and he has total scissor legs. And he cannot get his legs straight enough to get past the back wheel. So he can sit on it and do exercises on his core, so you can use it for strengthening, even in category 4 or 5. And maybe category 4 can actually improve gait because if you're symmetrical and activate the brain will start to help correcting and building muscle by movement. So rehabilitation, core strength building, category 4 or 5.
Yeah.
In exercising, but probably with a PT or something. Category 2, 3, hands down, no problem.
Yes, they are absolutely.
Category 1 should use to prevent damages later.
I see. Absolutely.
So that's kind of how I see it, I think, from what I've seen from people.
Okay. Also, I wanted you to ask, because I know the people ask me if they can to for example, to rest legs, and I know that somebody doing like a bar, diagonal bar across the bottom. If you can send me also the contact, then I can give the contact of this.
Are you on the Alinker family Facebook group?
Yes. That's why I know that it's
just ask there, because
I don't remember who is doing this fabrication separately.
Just ask the question. Hey, I'm looking for that guy who's making the footrest.
Then who is doing the adaptive systems, different system for Alinker?
It's a son of an Alinker user, actually, who happens to be a metal worker and made it for his mom.
Yeah.
Put it on Alinker family, and then people like, oh, can we order those? And then he started making them. So yeah, no, it's great. And I've seen one in real life, somebody who ordered it, and it's great.
It's good. It's great. So there are people who are starting to do.
But you can put your feet on the Alinker as it is right now as well.
Just one more question. I just don't understand, why did you try also to put it like a disabled equipment and to get at least partly to paid by insurance? Because everybody is asking why it's not paid by insurance.
Yes.
Wheelchair is paid. It's not fair. So it's
very
difficult.
I'll explain a little bit how that process works.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly in France how that works.
It's very difficult.
Medical equipment has to go through a certified supplier. In order to get insurances, you have to go through a certified supplier. In Canada and in the US as well, as much as I know, and in the Netherlands, I know too. Now I sell it for $2,500 US, or equivalent in euros or whatever. If I sell this as a medical device so that insurance pays for it, I'd have to sell it for $6,000 to $7,000 instead of $2,500.
67.
6 to 7. six,
6 to
seven,
7.
six, seven.
Well, it's became
That is what
the price even bigger than
more
the
2-3 times the price, because
3
that
times.
is how much margin they take, and I refuse to work with that.
Oh yeah.
And if you get it from the insurance, you might get half of it paid.
Yeah.
I'm selling it for less than half,
Yes, I see.
because you can see it's a high quality device.
Exactly.
And so $2,500 is a very quick investment, a very cheap investment for all the money that you can save on medical expenses later. And this is why I'm doing the interviews. Like the interviews that I'm doing with people, all of them at least save minimum $10,000 per year on medical expenses that they don't have anymore. Minimum 10,000. Some people over 100. Some people $200,000 per year.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to position the Alinker not as a medical device, but as an intervention
Yeah.
in the sick care mindset. Instead of, like, if you get people in a wheelchair, for example, like PTs here in Canada and in the US, they are trained to get people to use wheelchairs.
Yes.
Once you use a wheelchair, but you can still use your legs, because 60% of people that use wheelchairs can still use their legs somehow. When you disable people, those people that can use their legs, by putting them in a wheelchair, you actually further disable people. That has all sorts of consequences. Once you're in the wheelchair, you lose your muscle mass, you lose your strength, you probably increase weight. Many people start increasing the risk of chronic illnesses, all that stuff. 80% of wheelchair users or disabled people are on antidepressants because of the social construct around disabilities.
That's exactly I wanted to say, because how you want the people will not talk to you like with somebody.
So Alinker users, the ones that I've talked to, all of them are not on antidepressants anymore.
Yeah.
They regain their balance, they regain their strength, they regain their mobility, their independence. They go traveling again. They have less PT visits. They have less doctor visits. They have less chance for surgeries. They can prevent surgeries. There's huge medical savings that you can do. So yes, it's a device that is $2,500. I understand people don't have $2,500 sometimes. And if you get it from insurance, if we go that route, you pay $6,000-$7,000 for an Alinker.
This is the paradox of insurance. I
Of course.
understand. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
This is why I've always refused to go the insurance route. Now, it depends a little bit. If people have private insurances, sometimes walking bikes are covered, or they have how do you call that, a personal budget or something. They get a lump sum of money. You can do whatever you want with it. Then of course you can buy an Alinker, and that would be unfair to then have the Alinker be sold at $6,000-$7,000 if I can sell it for $2,500.
Exactly.
And I still have healthy margins, so I can actually, well, before the pandemic, reinvest in the company to make it more accessible for people who can't afford it. But that's all a mindset thing, and it's really hard, because the mindset is like, oh, I can eat whatever I want, and now I want a cure for my disease. Instead of like, oh, do I have to work for it? I don't want to work for it. That's very much the North American approach. But that is a story for insurances. Now, why I'm doing this research and doing those interviews is to see what was the trajectory that Mark was, for example, on, with all the medical complications and implications over time translated into cost.
Absolutely.
Now you have an intervention of $2,500. How did it change his life? And then you can map out how many cost savings you have by using an Alinker as an intervention. And then $2,500 becomes a very cheap intervention. So that's what we're doing, right?
It was just a discovering of Alinker. It was just a very very happy discovering, because it was necessary for him to rest a little bit at school, but at the same time, for me, the most important thing that Alinker did for us, it's a social life.
Yes.
It's for us, it was not a cause, because for us, when child growing up, sometimes it's not like adults. The muscles growing, so you sometimes you can't just not to do operation. For example, after you, I will do the interview for SPML operation, which Mark had in the United States, and it cost much more money than Alinker, believe me. But for the children with cerebral palsy, in 99%, you have to do in one moment at least one operation, an orthopedic operation, because you have no choice, because child, he is growing up. It's not like adult after stroke or something like this, because muscles is no more growing after accident or for cerebral palsy, but the bones, they are growing.
Yes.
That's the problem with children.
I know. Yeah, and they're painful operations too.
Yes, in 99% you have to do, and at any case, we are searching always the less invasive operation possible, what we did in SPML, and it was also the operation we paid out of pocket, because very often even operation is not really recognized at once. It's like, it's a medical field, it's like this, and all parents know this.
Yeah, but Svetlana, if you try to map out the trajectory that Mark was on before he found the Alinker,
it was we had to find something to replace, because before we had a stroller, special stroller for the children, but it's only till 50 kilos. So in fact, we had a chance to find Alinker, and we really started to use it even before we did the operation, because he had his legs, he's starting to turn inside because of growing scoots.
Yeah.
And in fact, we're starting to use the Alinker at the good moment, and we was traveling to United States still with the old stroller. It was the last time we used the stroller just after operation, when we took him out from operating room, and it was for one day. And then the stroller just in the garbage, and we use all the time we use only Alinker, and even at once after operation, and it helped him, in fact, to walk after orthopedic operation and to make re-education, because we had no training after that. We stay in United States during 2 weeks because we need to do our first, and during 2 weeks, it's the first thing that he started to do on Alinker, to walk on the big shops and so on, just walking on Alinker. And it was possible without Alinker. It was not possible. A lot of parents, they taking or wheelchair, or I think wheelchair even for walking children after orthopedic operation, or walkers. They had to do it even for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, always depend on the child, of his level. But in fact, we had Alinker. We had no need in any other equipment.
And the benefits of the Alinker at that point is that, like, after an operation, to stretch the muscles and the tendons, if you keep them active, they grow easier.
After orthopedic operation, the first thing to do, it's next day you have to start re-education. Yes. Next day you start.
If children do not get mobile after the surgery, it just seizes up, does it?
No, it's not working. And but by the way, a lot of parents, they know it, but they have to pay the OT, PT to make a movement after operation, or a lot of Annette Bennett method. They're doing.
So Mark just used the Alinker, didn't have OT, PT.
I hadn't, because it was happened in August, and if you was living in France in August, you know what's happening in August in France. Everybody's on vacations. Nobody's working.
Oh, right.
France. Everything.
But so look at just the cost of PT and OT that you did not spend because he had an Alinker.
Yeah, he had
What is the cost of all that?
Oh,
How
no,
many visits would he have had?
honestly, I was doing OT and PT. It was mom, OT, PT.
Right.
with
No, I get
Alinker.
that.
So I was doing my job, of course, because we had no OTPT, and we was just walking together during months, walking and walking and walking with hands and with Alinker and so on.
Mhm.
But at any case, it was really helpful for us, of course, after operation. And even now, I know that, for example, at school, for example, I bring him to school with Alinker, and in the lunch, I'm taking him home, and majority of time, I'm taking him without Alinker out of the school. Alinker staying at school, and when he comes back, he's going walking, searching his Alinker, and I asked to him, you want that we leave Alinker at home? Oh, no, I want to have it at school, because in such case, I don't need to search somewhere to sit, because a lot of, there is no much sitting place, let's say honestly, and especially in the winter, when it's rainy or something like this. And he has his place to sit, and so he's taking his Alinker, and then he's going to search his friends in a very big yard. If you saw the school, it's huge. It's just very big. And especially you can imagine if you have a lot of neurotypical just boys, girls who's running around, and a crowd and so on. For the child with dystonia, with spasticity, stressful situation, you can fall down if you don't have Alinker, even if you walk inside. And with Alinker, he's calm, because it's okay. I will be not just falling down because somebody passed nearby me or something like this. It's very important. It's not just the question of walking or not walking. It's the question of security as well.
Absolutely.
In crowd and so security. It's very important. And in school, they see this at once. But for example, inside, he's not using it. He's taking just a lift, and he's going to his classes inside, and he's not using it. It's just outside. He's waiting at school.
Has using the Alinker improved his walking without Alinker?
Oh, it's difficult to say, because I'm using a lot of other things at the same time.
Yes, I've seen that on your Instagram.
I'm honest, I have a mixture. I don't have only Alinker.
Of
Alinker
course.
is one of factor, but we did so much during last 2 years, 1 year and a half. In fact, we did operation, and then we did a lot of re-education, and we did also stimulation, and we're using pons, and we're using electrical stimulation and Alinker. In fact, my child, before, he couldn't really go up to the stairs. Now he's going up to the stairs without hands. But I need to be behind. It's not exactly GMFC1. It's something at the limits. Because still it's not very sure about his movement, so you need to be careful behind him. But it wasn't not possible before. It's the last 16 months it was started. It started. He started to jump, but jump because we was training to jump, and also because we had the operation, and because they're training a lot, and he's using regularly Alinker and looking, and also we train him like a tiger.
I see that sometimes, like, whoa.
Let's say honestly, it's a lot of different therapies altogether. So it's very difficult because it's not like clinical trial. You use only Alinker and you see only Alinker results.
Of course.
Now, in our case, it's not the case, but it's something I'm really happy about. Yeah, it's our everyday life. Honestly. For the long distance, it's not even discussion. When we go to the camp to walk in the city on the way, so with Alinker, I know I can go far away, just give a long way, because after 1 kilometer and a half, we have to sit other way without Alinker. We have to sit and to rest, and then we can go. It doesn't mean that he can't go further. He can, but he have to rest.
Yeah, absolutely. So I will ask Susan if she wants to. I mean, I'm going to film her, because I'm going to visit her in San Jose. Is that the 3rd, 4th of January or something? And I will ask her if she wants to do a video with a testimonial for the crowdfunding campaign,
Yes.
specifically for kids with cerebral palsy.
Yes.
And
we then can put it on the on all platforms and tell the parents, and then the
I can do a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo campaign or something. I've done Indiegogo campaigns before to get to market, actually. I started the Alinker with an Indiegogo campaign and another campaign, one in the Netherlands and then one in North America.
Because you see, for example, it's not for me. I have already Alinker and my child is big. It's really for the small other children, for other parents.
We might want to have some video from you as well, interviewing Mark, or like make some videos.
But in French, I will send you in French, like I did for my Instagram. I did in French because he's speaking only French.
Yes,
and then we can make subtitles. Yes,
but you can translate that. So in the video, and I can subtitle it. But if he says something, you can translate it in English to the camera. If that's like just try to see how a video would help people understand on the crowdfunding campaign, on the pre-sales campaign, what the impact is for Mark. So you interview him and then translate to the camera, like Mark just said, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then
yes, this is absolutely yes, we do like this. So in general, I told you everything the parents asked me. I hope it will be interesting. If you give me your address, I will send you a book.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
About
we can work together on the campaign as well to put that book as one of the perks. That if you pre-order a Linker, you get the book from Mark, all that kind of stuff. So we can do things together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
With Susan, same thing.
I have book in 2 languages, in French and English.
Oh, amazing. And I'm trying to do something with Susan. I will try to do something with Susan as well, that Susan can make, spine eggs for the first 10 early birds or something available, or we can do stuff that to get it. There's always special perks on the.
Yes, because I think it will be great to bring Alinker for smaller children.
Oh, absolutely.
I understand absolutely the problem of the fundraising for this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Cool.
I understand.
So and they might be a little bit more expensive actually, because there's a very different seat. Have you seen them the extra small?
No, I saw on the child when it was just a project. It was an gray one. It was even not yet yellow. It was like metal yet color.
Yeah.
I saw the picture when it was metal.
Let's see if I can just find it here quickly. XS. Anyway, I'll send you some pictures, and I will.
I'm waiting from you then pictures and also letter from Suzanne with the all positive parts of Alinker that I can put on YouTube, and also the record of our.
Send me the links. Send me the links to your YouTube as well, because then I can share them. And,
of course. But first, I need the records, and I then send you a links to my YouTube on my association, because I have association.
Yes.
And then we can share everywhere, and even the Alinker world and everywhere.
Yes, absolutely.
Good.
And the seat of the XS is different. Now it's just a hole in the frame with a seat pen, or the other seat pen. The XS Alinkers have a rail on the back of the Alinker, with a double triangle frame, so that the whole triangle can move up and down.
Yes.
So the top of the triangle is where the seat moves on.
Yes.
There's no nose on the seat, so there's only the padding for your sit bones, and then there is a pelvic support. So you got one seat.
It's more comfortable for the small child then.
They can hang into it.
I want to
get more support.
I want to see pictures as well, because I can add the pictures then.
Absolutely. I will send them to you.
Okay.
Let me see, because I've got Prue. Prue is here you can see it very well.
Yes, I see. See, this is triangle.
He's got a pelvic support there that he leans into, and then the seat can move. So the seat can move back and forth on the triangle.
Yeah.
The pelvic support can move up and down and closer to the seat as well, or
Yes.
further away.
So you can
That whole thing,
yeah.
that whole thing needs a lot of tooling still, and will cost money. So I think that the XS Alinker will be a little bit more expensive than $2,500 because it is quite different.
Yeah, I see.
But so this is Luca. That is the
Yes, the
seat,
metal. Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the prototype.
Yes, this was the prototype. Yeah. For
Yeah,
Luca.
so you got
Yes.
the pelvic support and the seat there, and that double triangle.
Ah.
And we need to make that such that it's easy to adjust and all that stuff. It's not so
Okay.
easy adjustable right now in the prototype, so I'd have to go to Taiwan, make all the last adjustments, do the tooling, and then produce it. But yeah, it's all possible.
Yes, of course
Mhm.
it's possible. It's always as usual. It's always the question of the investments, money,
Yeah.
and how to find all this in the good volume, and also to know exactly the market. What we can do, we can just study the market if the parents will be interested. And in such case, first of all, what we have to do, we have to give them information about
Yes.
it. They can't say you if they're interested or not if they don't have information. If we give already information at the first part, and then it will be good if they can fulfill some kind of for example page on the Alinker page where they can say, yes, I'm interested for this age of my child, this level of JMFC, and so on and so on. So then you have the datas. How many parents?
Well, that we'll have to do on a crowdfunding campaign with the special perks, with the special like how to measure which Alinker to get and what the range is and all that stuff. But we'll build that and then launch it in January.
They already can start with the adults Alinkers, like for example from 9-10 years old. But we are talking about the small children, and for small children, maybe there are something to do yet.
Yeah. Cool.
Good.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
It's really nice meeting you.
Me too. Me too. And by the way, at any case, send me also your address. I will send you a book.
I will do that, and I will send the photos of the seat. I'll send you some photos of Luca, so you can see that seat.
Yes, all by mails. I think by mails it will be better.
Yes.
Oh, and the records. It will pass by mail. It will be too heavy for by mails. Maybe you need WhatsApp. Maybe you need my phone number for WhatsApp. It will be heavy. No? Or
no, I'll send it by email.
Maybe we transfer, maybe it pass. Because it's long period. We transfer can pass.
Absolutely.
Then you send me, we transfer that.
Perfect. I will do that. All right. Thanks so much, Svetlana.
Bye.
Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Say hi to Susan.
Susan.